Welcome to Heartland Dual Sport. In today's video, we're going to be traveling from Oklahoma City area to New Mexico. We are trailering our CRF450. We're going to go right up in the mountains, so let's get to the video. We're outside of the Border, Texas area, and the map or sign that I just passed said that we're on part of the Texas Trail. So we'll have to do some research and see Texas Plains Trail. Have to do some research and see if we can find out about the Texas Plains Trail. I'm not sure if that's like a cattle drive type trail or if it's part of the Native American trail or what it is, but we'll do some more research and find out about it. We got a whole lot of this. We just came out of an area where there was a lot of the sagebrush and mesquite brush, and now we're more in the plains where it's just kind of this grass. I anticipate seeing some antelope coming up pretty soon, and as you can see, we're not going fast enough for everybody. People pass me all day long. I'm okay with that. Spent my whole life in a hurry. I'm trying to relax now. So again, we'll do some more research and try to figure out more about this trail, Texas Plains Trail. Just for fun, as you can see in the video, there's a ton of bugs on the windshield of my Jeep, and that would be the number of bugs that would be all over your riding gear, your helmet, your gloves, your bike, and just kind of a fun food for thought that basically we're riding around with no bugs in our teeth. I'm going to throw up a map here in a minute, but the one thing I want to point out, if you look off in the distance, we're getting closer, we can actually see the mountains. But I want to say this day trip was a little bit less than 600 miles. Again, I'll throw up the map and show you guys that. Basically, we're leaving from Oklahoma City and trying to make Taos, New Mexico as our first campground for the night. I guess I should back up a little bit here, guys, and kind of explain this trip and how it unfolded. But essentially, a buddy of mine, we both retired together at the same time. Fun story, we both got hired at the same time. But he had called me and asked me if I'd be interested in going to New Mexico and Colorado to go do some fly fishing. And you know me, I can't consciously, in good efforts, go all the way up in the mountains and not take a bike with me. So we've loaded up the CRF450rl, and we're going to be trailering it all the way to New Mexico and Colorado. Now, here's some of the fun things about going on an adventure with your buddy, because my buddy actually planned this trip. So we're going to kind of cover a couple of those things real quick. But number one, we're actually going to 2 or 3 different places that I would have ordinarily never picked out. So in the back of my mind, it just kind of makes the trip a little bit funner and unique in the sense that these are places that I wouldn't have picked out, and now it's going to provide just a little bit of something different for the adventure, because it's nothing that I pre-planned or even figured on doing. The added benefit of taking the Jeep, we actually installed GMRS radios, and if you're not familiar with the GMRS radio, it's basically like the new age CB. So at some point you're going to actually hear Ty, my buddy that I went up there and made this trip with, you're going to hear him talking in the background as well on the radio. And if you guys have not checked out GMRS radios, I'll put a link down below to the ones that we got. You do need to go through the FCC to get basically a license for it. Now, it's a much easier, you don't really have a test per se. Basically, you're filling out a form and paying a few bucks so that you can talk on that radio legally. A lot of you guys already know that I'm a ham operator, and I've got the extra class of the ham radio. Not that that's any big deal, or not that anybody even cares. But the one thing I want to point out is, even if you are already a licensed ham radio operator, you still have to pay for this permit for the GMRS radios, because it's not covered under the FCC licensing as a ham radio operator. So essentially what happens is there's a lot of folks that want a good, decent radio to communicate, especially a lot of your guys that do the Jeep and the overland stuff. and a lot of people have just switched over to those GMRS radios simply because they work so much better than the old school CBs, and you normally don't have any of the nonsense trash talking because it is a license that you have to pay for, and your communication could be trackable, if you will. So that cuts down on a lot of the nonsense that you would have ordinarily heard on the CBs back in the day. But again, guys, we're just traveling through here. I wanted to make a couple of points, one of them being the GMRS radio. And then if you look and see in the rearview mirror from time to time, and or look to my passenger side of the Jeep, you can see who's riding shotgun with me, which is a whole nother level of fun, because now my little buddy's riding shotgun with me, and we're fixing to roll on into New Mexico, and I've already prepaid for the campground that we're going to be staying in. We're not going to be riding today because we're getting in late in New Mexico. Basically, we're going to get camp set up, and we are camping out of our Jeep for the most part. And in probably the next video or two, I'll show you the Jeep and how we've got it set up for me and Buster to camp out of. We've done a lot of hunting trips and fishing trips camping out of the Jeep together. The added bonus is obviously we're taking the CRF450rl with us on this trip so that we can get some motorcycle riding in while we're in some of these areas of New Mexico and Colorado that I ordinarily would have never planned a trip to go do. So again, guys, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. It truly helps our channel out. If you've liked our video and you've enjoyed any of this, please give us a big thumbs up. If you think we missed the mark on this video, give us a big thumbs down and comment down below what you'd like to see in the future. This trip right here, we're going to continue over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be riding the CRF450rl, not only in New Mexico, but Colorado. So again, if that's something that interests you and you haven't subscribed, I'd love to talk you into subscribing so that you don't miss out. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. May you have a blessed week, and let's go ride.